Hello everyone, and welcome to the Arthur Murray Lifestyle Series. I'm Victoria Regan, the Global Ambassador for Arthur Murray International. If we speak of the Arthur Murray family lifestyle, the gentleman we are giving tribute to is a direct result of an iconic Arthur Murray family. His family has been connected to the Arthur Murray organization for nearly 70 years of the 108 years of Arthur Murray's existence. Please welcome with respect Area 1 Chairman and franchisee, Mark Lightner. Hello, Mark. Welcome to the Arthur Murray Lifestyle Series. How are you?
I'm wonderful, Victoria. It's a treasure to be here. I look forward to sharing some stories about the Lightner family and our Arthur Murray connection.
You knew them as Mom and Dad. We all knew them as Paul and Doris. Tell us about their individual entry to Arthur Murray's and what it was like for you growing up in a true iconic Arthur Murray family.
Well, Victoria, my story has a number of different chapters, but I was very blessed to have Paul and Doris as parents. And one of their passionate sayings as a parent is that your job was to prepare your children for the game of life, and you spell love to a child T-I-M-E. So that was always to reinforce my parents' commitment. Not always the easiest thing in Arthur Murray world, but they always made time to be incredibly connected in my life and whatever was going on. Their story is very similar to our founder, Mr. Murray himself, where both of my parents started as students. My mother a little more conventionally. She was a nursing student studying to be a nurse anesthetist in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And she met a friend of a friend that was connected to the studio and was invited in as a guest and danced. And one of the unique aspects about my mother's teacher that helped her certify in gold is that he was Christy Malgoza's father. So the legacy continues. My father, a little bit more of an unconventional start, incredibly shy young man. He grew up in Perry County, Pennsylvania, went to a one-room schoolhouse for most of his schooling, was the only person in his high school graduating class to leave the county that he grew up in. And his family had moved a little bit east to Allentown, Pennsylvania, and a friend had suggested that my father's birth name was Alvin. He later changed his name to Paul Alvin, as we know him now by Paul, but that Alvin do something to improve his shyness or to help with his shyness and improve his self-confidence. And Arthur Murray dance lessons seemed like a really good option to be able to do that. So he got up the confidence and made an appointment and showed up for the lesson on Monday and didn't have the conviction to walk through the door. So went home, studio followed up with him, same thing on Tuesday, same thing on Wednesday, and then on Thursday, the committed new student department director that we call a counselor in Arthur Murray world, walked down the stairs, had seen this young man hanging around, had a good idea that that was Alvin, and helped him get up the stairs. That honestly changed his life. And he never lost that passion. He could express himself on the dance floor. He could express himself as a singer. That is one of the reasons he always enjoyed watching you perform, Victoria. But having a casual conversation with a person that he had never met before was just not an easy thing. And Arthur Murray as an organization has helped so many people navigate that challenge when they're just not the most naturally, socially comfortable person.
I did hear from John Kimmons that you were very close to a Class AAA career in baseball. For our sports fans, I will let you share that story, Mark.
My life journey, I built off of the dancing school, and my athletic passion was baseball, and I was quite good at it. So I continued to progress, played in state semifinals and state finals in Southern New Jersey, and then for anybody's career, it's always good to have consistency. We moved from New Jersey to Boston for my senior year of high school. and we moved late in the summer. So it wasn't the easiest transition, but we had a really good baseball team. I am still connected to a number of those teammates from North Andover High School. We played in a state semifinal game with two guys that went on to the major leagues.
There's a lot to be said for nepotism. Did your parents make it easier for you? And did that make the transition easier from baseball to your Arthur Murray journey?
So Victoria, in all honesty, I don't think I fully appreciated their long-term mindset, but as parents, they knew that your offspring would always be subject to, of course you're being promoted because your parents own the studio, and that may get you initially the job, but it's not going to keep success. So my employment started as a youngster. When I did end up at the studio, I would be giving tasks, and always, whether it was a dime or a quarter or something, minuscule, I would have to sweep the floors. I would have to empty trash buckets. That evolved later on to helping with some of the bookkeeping, and then during summers and off time through college that I would again be doing mostly menial tasks. One of the fun parts of that is that I managed the soda machines in the studio with glass bottles and old wooden cases. It was not an easy job, and that was usually vacation money for me along the way, but it all was meant to show me the value of a good work ethic, and the fact that you need to take care of a lot of those tasks to be successful at Arthur Murray or really in life before the day even started. So then we moved to training class and a official start in the studio. Again, no rules were going to be changed for me. I think that they were probably even harder on me than most of the candidates along the way. And I, at some point, grew to appreciate that discipline and the demand for excellence. Starting as a part-time specialist in the studio, earning short money. I did have the advantage of commuting to and from work with my parents, so that was always a continuing education journey, and it wasn't easy, but it was tremendously enjoyable, and it was a career that I am grateful for. The one thing that I know is whatever I do for work, I could not sit in the chair. I struggled to do it for 10 minutes at a time at this stage in life. I've always been like that. I need to be active. So having my office be a ballroom dance studio, dance floor, was the perfect place for me.
So did your major in college help you with the requirements as an executive, and where did your franchise journey begin?
I majored in business at Eckerd College, and I was fortunate. They had lots of opportunities for you to explore things outside. I was the president of our management society, and there were a lot of interaction, or a lot of opportunities for interaction with small businesses and local business leaders. It was great perspective, that as much as you enjoy your parents as mentors, that it was always nice to be able to learn from other people. And that step was amplified when I got to a level where I was feeling like this was the right career for me, and I had that discussion with my parents. It happened over the course of several events, and they then responded to me that if you're serious about this as a career, then we have a thought about what the next steps would be. And I, of course, was intrigued what their thoughts about next steps should be, and what my thoughts were couldn't have been more disconnected. They presented me the opportunity that if I was going to make it in this industry, I was going to have to sink or swim on my own. And that the best place to explore that would be outside of the Boston area, and the destination that they thought was the right fit was Buffalo, New York. I needed to make that decision about sinking or swimming, and having a lot of advanced silver and gold students really made me sharpen my dancing resume, my teaching resume, and I was fortunate to be connected to a number of amazing trainers. One of the signature people at that point in time was Shirley Johnson, who was working in Toronto. So we frequently would travel there for training, and a lot of amazing resources. Vicky Venka would frequently come to that area. She had been traveling to the Syracuse studio, and it was a natural connection to add on Buffalo, and a lot of amazing stories. But that's where my franchisee journey began.
Did you or do you find it a challenge to keep a balance between the dancing and the business aspect of staff training?
So Victoria, I certainly juggled to find the right balance between business direction and your own professional dancing. I think now that I wish that I had focused a little bit more on professional dancing before I started the business part, but I don't know that that's how my brain is wired. But if I can go back a little bit in the Arthur Murray journey, one of the items or one of the parts of my father's personality was his thirst for continued development. Anybody that knew him, that he was always learning, whether it was about investments or whether it was about personal development or about sales or dance training. So when we were in the Elizabeth, New Jersey studio, there were a number of iconic people that we were connected to, including Bill and Bobby Irvine initially, along with Derek and Nola Jones, along with Fran Rogers, Sam Sedano, Pierre Dulaine, Don and Kathy Rule, and a gentleman that I really enjoyed watching dance, that would show up in his Volkswagen minivan and danced this amazing dance that I saw Frank Regan perform Paso Doble for the first time.
You know, it's always difficult following in our parents' footsteps. When you took over the Lightner legacy, did you feel prepared, Mark?
Well, unfortunately, my father passed away young at the age of 63, very unexpectedly. The good news about that is that he was a terrible patient, and he really had a very short illness, which was probably best for everyone. But upon his passing, that I renewed my relationship with my mother. I think for a period of time, we were looking to try and manage the business as Paul would have. And then a step at a time, you start to create your own identity. I don't know that it's always easy to succeed an iconic person, probably even more challenging if they're your parents. But I became more confident in my vision and where I thought our studios could go. And I think fortunately, some of my instincts were good. With a lot of help from amazing people, we have continued to grow our Boston area studios. There are now 9 studios in this area, and most of that success is due to the commitment to ongoing education and development. So continuing to train the trainers where we could be better at marketing, we could be better at recruiting, we could be better at training, and really just holding ourselves accountable, providing opportunities for our staff members. I know the part of my athletic DNA that is satisfied is that you still get to compete in a different way every day at Arthur Murray World. So whether it's the commitment from a student or a staff member, you know, just trying to build the biggest and the best team possible. We're surrounded today in the Boston area, as well as my partner in Charleston, South Carolina, with amazingly talented, committed people. And many times I step back and think that where the heck did they learn this? Because they're so much better at many of those things along the way. So that is a huge step that my dad did a lot preparing me for, that if you want your organization to grow, there are going to be people that do things bigger and better than you ever did. You need to be okay with that. That doesn't mean you're any less valuable to the organization. Embrace that and we'll all grow together. I'm privileged to be enjoying that ride.
Now, please share your personal joy of that Lightner legacy.
A personal joy with that is that our youngest son, Christian, has continued the Lightner legacy. He was the first second generation person to become a VIP member in our organization last year. Our family has been connected to Arthur Murray for nearly 70 of our 108 years. So I'm very proud of that. And Christian and his partner, Kia, continue their success with our Cambridge studio. And Christian's journey is very similar to his grandfather's. Christian is a bright, talented boy in many ways that did not naturally have self-confidence. And his journey, starting as a student in the Boston studio, was to be able to improve that his own confidence. I know that Martin Rebello has shared that he would teach our sons, Kyle and Christian, in the studio. My parents were smart enough that, they were learning dances that kids enjoyed more than ballroom in the beginning. They were really smart about making those connections. And then eventually you got that passion and confidence to be able to evolve into the ballroom dance journey. But I think that Arthur Murray world is perfect for Christian and so many others, where it challenges him athletically, it challenges him cerebrally, and it continues to provide a really nice business career option. I'm proud of him and all of my partners in the Boston area.
Mark, I hope this is a fun question. What would Paul and Doris say about you as their successor?
Well, Victoria, I feel blessed that many mutual friends that knew my parents better than they know me have shared that they believe my parents would be very proud of me and the success of our studios and all of Area 1, of all of the characteristics of the Lightner family. I think it's the commitment to our company as a whole, that we eat, sleep, and drink Arthur Murray. If we needed to get in a car and go help a studio on a moment's notice, we would do that. So I think that my parents would generally be pleased. They would not be satisfied. They would want us to continue to grow and to push ourselves forward. And I'll conclude with a statement I share many times to especially new hires, but my father always reminded me that he thought we were in the life enhancement business and that our vehicle is ballroom dancing. So whether it's self-confidence or whether it's a new start on life or it's a better work-life balance, it's a new physical fitness program, there are so many different ways that we impact our students. And we never know when somebody's going to call us on the phone, and if we're not at our best and we fail that person because we weren't connected to the phone call, maybe a future Mark Lightner or Victoria Regan, maybe they don't get connected to us. So I know that thinking about the responsibility, you never know what is in store down the road. We just celebrated the 40th anniversary for Michelle Garcia that I remember early on, that she got connected to the Jersey City studio. And again, if we didn't warmly welcome Michelle and treat her right, what would have happened to her career? It could have gone something very differently, and she's amazingly passionate, and I want to hold ourselves accountable that we need to be at our best every day, so that we're ready for future amazing people when they're ready to join us.
Mark, thank you so much for all these great stories, Your parents and the continuation of your legacy and integrity that comes with it has paved the road for so many and for the Arthur Murray lifestyle. I look forward to seeing you soon in person. And until then, I throw you a kiss just like when you were 13.
Victoria, it's a pleasure to be part of our Arthur Murray Lifestyle series. I want to thank our Arthur Murray leadership for even thinking of including me and the Lightner chapter of the Arthur Murray journey. I'm incredibly appreciative and grateful for our company and so many amazing people that I get to be connected to and work in association with. I thank you for the opportunity to be part of the Arthur Murray Lifestyle series. Thank you.
And the same to all of you that are supporting and watching the Arthur Murray Lifestyle series. Remember to stay safe and keep on dancing.